Welcome to Tuesday, the 28th day of December 2021. Very cold weather enveloping the entire region here over the next couple of days. The most severe cold is staying up in Canada along the U.S.-Canadian border, but there's going to be little leakages of Arctic air south. Today and tomorrow is one of those. It'll be briefly warmer for Thursday, but windy. Really cold today and tomorrow. Winds pick up Thursday, then travel problems will continue. There's really nothing coming between now and Saturday where it's a really good travel period. There is going to be a little less weather today. So a little less weather today means slightly better travel problems, but we still have a lot of road closures, and that's going to be a real headache. We have another Arctic push coming in Friday and Saturday. Not only will it get very cold Friday and New Year's Day, there's going to be more snow, and this time I do see some snow on the Front Range of Colorado and Wyoming and western Nebraska, maybe even western Kansas, down into northeast New Mexico. Not a big snow event, but we are going to ring in the new year with a little bit of the white stuff and some very, very cold air. Then we have a break in the weather beginning Sunday. So I think for folks who are traveling the day after New Year's Day, there is a break in the weather coming before the weather gets unsettled again by the middle to the end of next week. Wanted to show you how productive the weather has been when it comes to precipitation along and west of the divide in the last 2 weeks. Look at the rainfall and snow totals along and west of the divide for the last 2 weeks. That is a lot for December. It really, really is. And then also look at the snow that's picked up across Montana and the northern plains. Here's the snow hole that we've been talking about and watching, continuing here. But if you were to compare to averages, to the 30-year average, anywhere you see green or blue, precipitation over the last 2 weeks has been above average. You know, snowpack in the Sierra Nevada has now gone to 200% of normal. So this is ultimately good news. We got to get moisture east of the divide. We know that, but at least we're getting that mountain snowpack to get built up again, and we're going to see that continue. Temperatures this morning, frigid. Look at those minus 30s and minus 20s just across the border into Alberta and Saskatchewan and Manitoba. Some of those sub-zero temperatures covering North Dakota, eastern areas of Montana. The boundary of the Arctic air is really just about here, and it's going to wiggle kind of back and forth. Look at these temperatures. Look at these temperatures in Seattle and Portland. Look at those single digits out in eastern areas of Washington State. Look at Boise. Look at Idaho. Burr. I mean, the cold air is really getting west of the divide. Look at those temperatures in California. I can hear the complaints from here about the cold in California right now. So there's a lot of wintry weather coming. That high pressure ridge just remains anchored. This is a forecast map that looks so similar. We've been showing you basically the same map for the last week now with this very slow evolving trough. Notice all the blue up here. Notice a low here, a triple barrel of cold and low pressure coming out of Canada into the northern areas of the Rockies and the Pacific Northwest. This is why it's so cold up there. Just deep, deep Arctic air underneath the blue. As we go forward, we'll see that Arctic air get a bigger push. These are the current winter weather advisories. We have wind chill warnings, severe cold warnings up here in that Arctic air. Look at the winter weather advisories here in the upper Midwest. Look at the winter weather advisories in Arizona and New Mexico. Back up into the Rockies here. Look at all the winter weather advisories up here in the Pacific Northwest. Winter storm warnings for the Sierra Nevada. Even winter weather advisories for the mountains of Southern California and the mountains around Las Vegas. So just a lot of winter weather all across the West. Now this is by Wednesday afternoon. That high pressure ridge remains anchored. Northwest flow continues into the region, and we see the blue getting a little bit further south into Montana. So the next couple of days, quite cold, but this westerly flow on Thursday will bring a little bit of a chinook briefly. Windy conditions and warmer conditions Thursday with a continuation of mountain snow. By Friday afternoon, notice the dip. Okay, the trough dips further south into the Great Basin and Rockies, and that's going to open the door to some of that really cold air up north. Precipitation-wise, through New Year's Eve afternoon, this is through 5 p.m. on Friday, and we can just continue to see the snow in the mountains. Look at the snow and the rains in Arizona, in the desert Southwest, into Colorado here in Old Mexico, and along the Wasatch and up into the Yellowstone Plateau, then back into the Pacific Northwest in California. Just more Pacific moisture getting driven into the mountains and areas west of the divide. This is what the snowfall forecast for the next 90 hours looks like through Friday afternoon. Now, let's take a look from Friday afternoon through Sunday. Notice we see snow now getting out on into the plains. So Colorado's Front Range, western Kansas, parts of Nebraska, even down in New Mexico and the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles, there could be some snow on the ground by New Year's morning, because this push of snow is going to be associated with that Arctic push coming in on New Year's Eve Friday and into Saturday morning. So that is going to bring a lot of winter weather our way on New Year's Eve Friday into New Year's Day Saturday. By Saturday morning, the Arctic boundary, a blue norther, is headed down into Texas with the severe cold, the super bitter cold here in the blue and purple areas, especially the purple areas. You're going to see just extremely cold temperatures, but look at all the blue and the green, all the way to the Pacific coast, all the way to Phoenix and Tucson. You know, this is just going to be a very, very cold New Year's Day in the northern plains and the Rockies all the way to the west coast. These are temperatures by Saturday morning, and you can see a lot of sub-zero temperatures up there in the Dakotas and the northern plains, lots of single digits. There's probably going to be more sub-zero temperatures on this map by the time we wake up Saturday morning, whenever you wake up Saturday morning from New Year's Eve. So it's going to be a really cold start to the new year. As we get into Sunday and Monday, though, notice the high pressure ridge is replaced in eastern areas of the Pacific with a low. This causes a temporary ridge. So Sunday through Tuesday of next week, there's a break, but this low gets pushed in. And by Thursday and Friday of next week, Arctic air gets pushed back in, Pacific moisture as well. This brings snow back to the mountains, colder temperatures to the plains, and going out to 15 days, this is for January 13th, we have basically, we call this the Hudson Bay Vortex, where you have a deep pocket of extremely cold air spinning around counterclockwise. That's going to drive some really cold air into the United States during the second week of January. These are temperatures relative to normal by the 13th of January. And you can see from the Great Lakes to the Pacific coast, all the way down into Texas, very, very cold air will be settling in as we get to the end of next week and through the middle of January. So there's lots of winter weather coming. Have yourself a great Tuesday. We'll see you on Wednesday. In the meantime, stay warm and drive carefully.